Hey folks, hope you guys are having a great day. Saturday. It's that Saturday between Good Friday and Easter. I know there's a name for it, but I'm kind of spacing on it. But I hope it's good. We're going to keep it a little bit short today. I think I'm only going to stream an hour because we've got a little Easter egg hunt with the neighbors that we're going to do. So we get all that kind of the fun little folk tradition stuff out of the way on Saturday. I could spend tomorrow with my grandma and maybe do vigil tonight and that kind of stuff. So hope you guys are having a good one. You can get a free copy of my newest book. I don't have my physical copy here. I don't know where it went. Demon Ex Machina. dvspress.com/free-book, and that will put you on the mailing list and send you a link. Or, you know, you'll get the free book and it'll put you on the mailing list for Demon Ex Machina. And if you've read it and enjoyed it, please drop by the Amazon page and leave a couple stars. That's always helpful for me, you know, to go later on there. So, all right. We'll get to the game in just a second. I want to do one quick talk before I get going here. I'll pause the music here. All right, so I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but there's been some waves made regarding a weight loss drug. Now, it's not new. Weight loss drugs are not a new thing, but this one is making waves because it's pretty easy to administer. It's like a weekly shot. It mimics a hormone. And the hormone it mimics is called glucagon-like peptide 1. So it's like a peptide that should reduce hunger in the people who use it. And I think it was making waves because of the idea, like, could we just medicalize weight loss? Like, we have a major obesity problem in America. Is it really good to just be giving people medicine for weight loss versus, you know, changing their diet and exercise and changing their lifestyle, changing food sources, all that kind of stuff. The fitness industry, you know, has a variety of opinions, but I thought I'd go ahead and give my opinions. So here's the first thing. This is nothing new, right? We used to prescribe amphetamines like 50 years ago, and they were effective for creating weight loss. They were effective at reducing excess body fat, raising metabolism, reducing hunger. People used to smoke, which is an appetite suppressant. And so maybe to some degree, weight gain is a result of people not smoking, but I think it's also just part of affluence. We have lots of resources. Food is very cheap, and high-calorie food is exceptionally cheap as well. And we don't have a lifestyle where we're burning off a lot of calories. Like, we're not chopping down trees and hand plowing fields and stuff like that. So we're more sedentary, and food is cheaper, higher quality, higher calorie food is easier to get, which of course is going to make people obese unless they are consciously controlling their diet and exercise. So my first big point is that the truth is that most people cannot diet and exercise with enough discipline over a long enough time to actually change their body type, to actually lose weight permanently. I say that as a person who's lost a lot of weight in the past, like about maybe 100 pounds or almost 100 pounds and kept most of it off, right? So it takes years actually to go from being obese to a healthy weight. If you're 100 pounds overweight and you're losing a pound of fat a week, which is usually like the rule of thumb for fairly moderate and healthy weight loss, where you're not going to be burning off a ton of lean muscle mass. It takes 2 years. So for 2 years, you're going to have to be in a fasting kind of state. You're going to have to be abstaining from lots of foods that you're used to eating and you really enjoy eating. And you'll also probably be needing to exercise. So, imagine how difficult it may be for a person to do a severe Lenten fast, like doing no meat or something like that. But you're going to do that for 2 years. Most people can't handle that. If they could, they would. That's the truth, right? So maintaining a new difficult lifestyle, it's really hard. Most people are simply not up to it. They don't have the discipline. They don't have a life set up in a way where they can actually make those changes in a healthy way to change their body type. One of the reasons that they are overweight is that they just haven't emphasized their body, right? They haven't spent time thinking about their diet and exercise. So it's a major change for them to alter that. I'm just being realistic. Most people don't have it. The other thing is, number two, the fitness industry is already heavily into medicalized weight loss. Despite what you may see a fitness person complaining about using a weight loss drug. The fitness industry runs on steroids, right? And so they use steroids to lose weight, not just anabolic steroids, which build up your muscles, but also a variety of other drugs like clenbuterol or T3, which is a thyroid hormone to raise your metabolism. And then there's even more dangerous ones, and burn off the last of that fat to get down to like 6% body fat for a show if you're doing bodybuilding or something like that. So the truth is the fitness industry runs on drugs. Most of the models you see are not natty. We got to be honest. They're using some sort of enhancement, usually a male hormone like testosterone. Testosterone makes it a lot easier to stay lean, guys. Way, way easier. So the fitness industry really has nothing to complain about with people using a hormone to reduce their appetite as an appetite suppressant. Number three, drug intervention is probably cheaper than bariatric surgery with less long-term risks. And probably we can expect about the same results, meaning some people will permanently lose weight and some people will bounce back, they'll adapt, and it won't be effective because the truth is if you really want to be lean for a long time, you have to have a lifestyle that's directed towards that. It's not an automatic thing at all anymore. So, it's going to be cheaper and lower risk than surgery versus cutting someone open, especially someone who's already unhealthy and may have a lot of risks. And you have to think, yes, the drug costs a lot of money, but even if you socialize the cost of that drug through Medicare or something like that, long term, you are reducing the health costs on the system overall, because if you can reduce somebody's body fat, then that lowers their risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, which will shorten their lifespan, require more and more expensive medical intervention later on in their life, including heart surgery or things like that. So it's actually cheaper to just give, if you can effectively give somebody a drug that will reduce their body fat, it's going to be much cheaper to do that, even if you're giving it to them over a long period of time versus doing bariatric surgery or letting them have heart attacks and need, hogging up a bunch of health resources as their body falls apart because of obesity. Joint problems, like your knees wear out, you need knee replacements. There's a lot of problems that happen with your body when you're carrying around a lot of weight. So if you just look at it from a strategic point of view, moving pieces on the board, it's going to be much more efficient to do a drug intervention than the other stuff. Obviously, number four, it doesn't resolve the root problem of obesity in our culture, which is lots of cheap, calorie-dense food, sedentary diets, and things like that. Our ancestors really didn't have to think about being overweight because food was not that expensive. It was less calorie dense in the past, and they were more active. So, your great grandpa never had to think about what he was eating because he was more active, moving around, walking a lot more, and he was eating less food. The food was more expensive and it was less calorie dense. It wasn't as, quote, nutritious, meaning there wasn't as much energy in the food. So yeah, our grandparents were not better people because they were thinner, but rather our environment was was better or it was different in such a way that they never had to really think about their diet. So most people in the past never thought about their diet either. We're asking people to do things that most people never did, which is to focus intensely on their food like a monk. It's monks that tend to think about their diet when they're fasting, engaging in intense fasts. You're asking someone to do that permanently as a lifestyle. It's really hard. So, it doesn't address the root causes, which is all of those mismatches, but hey, sometimes it's cheaper to put a Band-Aid on it than to figure out how to make kids stop scraping themselves, right? And I guess number 6 would be I don't really know how the fat acceptance movement will respond to this. Most fat acceptance types, I truly believe if they had the opportunity to just take a drug and be thinner, they would. Despite all the rhetoric about getting people to accept fatness as just another kind of body type, the truth is most of the people who espouse those opinions would jump at the chance to be thinner without having to put in a lot of effort. The reason that they're fat is that it's if they could diet and exercise it away, they would, right? They would choose to have a healthier, better feeling body and things like that, but they can't. It's just they don't have it in them to do it. So, most of the marketing for Wegovy, which is this new drug, which is called, I think the chemical name is, what's it called? Semaglutide. So that's the actual name of the drug. So most of the marketing is, it's not your fault that you're fat and things like that. And to some extent, I think that's actually true. We're not made to just exist in this environment. Our grandparents didn't have to think about that. So anyway, yeah, I think most of the fat acceptance people would jump at a chance to reduce their weight. It'd be interesting to see people fight against taking a weight loss drug because that reduces the fat culture or something like that. It's kind of like how deaf people will argue against implants and things like that. No, you can't give my deaf child a cochlear implant because that'll hurt deaf culture. It's like, I have a serious problem with you depriving your child of the ability to communicate with other humans. I think that actually is abusive. Anyway, I'm slipping another opinion there. The last one, overall cost to society to mass use a drug is probably less than dealing with the medical costs of obesity. That's my conclusion on that. And I guess another thought would just be, it's interesting that we don't think more broadly about medicalizing weight loss, especially with the way the fitness industry knows how to use drugs. If you think about it, if you have a man maybe who's overweight, it might actually be more efficient, or it might be efficient to give him a couple of rounds of steroids, right? Get him on anabolic steroids and a workout routine. And actually, he would gain muscle even without having to work out that hard. But put him on a round of steroids, have him gain 20 pounds of muscle. You keep about half the gains when you come off, if you do like a PCT. That's the rule of thumb. And that will permanently raise his metabolism, making it harder for him to overeat over the long term. So if you could put someone who's overweight onto steroids for 6 or 12 weeks, or do that twice, and then they gain a bunch of muscle and keep a lot of it, and then their metabolism is significantly raised for a long time, then it makes it a lot easier to lose weight and to not overeat. One of the problems with people being overweight is they have low muscle mass, but they're eating a lot of calories and they're sedentary. They're not using their muscle a lot. And so it ends up creating a situation where you're in way excess. You have way too much energy coming in and not nearly enough energy going out. But no one ever really thinks about this. Like, why can't we use anabolic steroids to correct a health problem? This is a problem whose body, the body needs to be rebuilt. It's a dysfunctional body. So yeah, we're going to do a medical intervention. Let's do the appetite suppressant, but let's also load him up with testosterone if it's a male, get him a bunch of muscle, and then he'll have a higher metabolism for a really long time, making it even easier to lose weight and get in shape. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Let's take a look at the chat before we play a game a little bit. I'm miserable. I'm trying to complete daily activities in Red Dead Online. Turn the game off. It's okay to not play that game. I've been doing intermittent fasting and lost nearly 100 pounds in a bit over a year. Eating one meal a day has been a cheat code. It makes it a lot harder to overeat if you're window of eating is really small. It just is, you know. You have to make sure to get enough meat. Yeah, I used to do intermittent fasting, like to finish the diet and get really lean. Where you'd fast all day, work out, like take some BCAAs, work out, go home, eat like a chicken burrito with a bunch of spinach, eat a hamburger, and then eat like chicken and peas and have a protein shake, like in a short span of time. You just felt full, and then you go to sleep. It worked really good for a while. But your body adapts, you know. Main thing is like it's pretty simple. I still was really controlling the type of food that I ate a lot, but I had been dieting at that point for 2 years, like pretty hardcore. But it's just like you get to a point where it's a plateau, and it's like it's really hard to like make your meals smaller and smaller. It's like, well, what if we just cut one meal out? You know, cut a meal out. There you go. I always had reservations about the healthcare debate. It seems like no one points out that our lifestyles and solutions create an incredible burden to then fight over how to subsidize. Yeah. Like I said, it's really hard to change lifestyles. Very hard to change your lifestyle. It's a big thing to ask somebody to do that. And if you think about the type of person who really needs to lose the weight, it's probably somebody who has a lifestyle where they're not only have they not emphasized their body, but it's very difficult to do that. They maybe work a lot. Maybe it tends, people tend to get fat who work a lot because you're not making time to exercise and you're not making time to manage your diet. You have to actually be conscious about what you're eating all the time now. If you don't want to be overweight, it's really hard. So they get hungry, they eat. Like that's our natural cycle of things. If you think about just our natural cycle of things, it's not to have this fasting mentality where we have dietary discipline over everything we eat and we abstain from certain foods. That's tended to be more like a religious thing in the past. Like you would fast because it was very difficult to do, and it was a way to develop spiritual discipline, not to improve the look of your body. So now we have to have that mindset, but directed towards our body. It's a little weird. In the past, people they got hungry, they ate whatever food was available until they felt satisfied, and then they stopped eating. And now somebody gets hungry and they eat food until they're satisfied, but the food is twice as calorie dense and they're half as active as their ancestors. So they're just acting in a normal way. They're just acting in the way that we're designed to act. Our bodies cue us with hunger hormones, tell us to eat, we feel satisfied. It's keeping the body, the machine going. Those things are necessary. But hey, if you're eating a lot of fried chicken or something like that, it's gonna put some weight on, you know what I'm saying? Even in the past, I remember seeing this great thread of this guy decided to make Bronze Age bread. So he went through all the trouble. He got the ancient grains. He got a stone out to grind them. And yes, there was little tiny pieces of rocks in the flour that he ground. You had to pick those out. And you ended up with some in the bread. So ancient people get microabrasions all over their teeth from eating these little tiny rocks that were in the bread. And then, putting a little bit of oil in the bread, like making the bread, baking it in an actual oven. And it was so much work to bake this one loaf of bread. And he's like, this is the best tasting bread I've ever had in my life. But it was very ephemeral. Just a few hours after you baked it, the bread becomes like flat and flavorless and doesn't taste good. So you bake your daily bread. Now, by the way, the Our Father, give us this day our daily bread. I'm trying to remember what that Greek word is, but it actually is not daily bread. We just kind of translate it to that. But you get a daily piece of bread, and it was a lot of work to make it, to buy the grain, to grind it, to bake the bread. And you didn't get a ton of energy out of that. You put in a lot of energy and you didn't get a whole lot out of that experience. So people in the past weren't going to be super fat because it was difficult to just eat a piece of bread. It was difficult to grow just some vegetables and eat those. Meat was rare and expensive. It's hard to get your protein sources. I agree, a lot of these fat problems aren't the fault of the people. It wasn't until I started seriously dieting that I realized how much I was lied to about what is good for you. Yeah, I realized that too. That food pyramid, the diabetes pyramid. It's not just that, right? Like, you have to think most people they don't have a discipline over every aspect of their life, certainly not diet. Most people have minimal discipline. That discipline's directed towards survival, and um, you know, that doesn't include diet. You have the discipline to get up and go to work, hopefully on time. There's also something very interesting, which is there's an extremely strong correlation between poverty and obesity in the United States. This is not necessarily true outside of the United States, but in the United States, the correlation between obesity and poverty is really profound. So the poorer you are, the more likely you are to be obese. I know that it's completely inverted from how the narrative goes about poor people like struggling to get food. The truth is, in America, poor people don't struggle to get food. Rather, they're poor compared to other people who have lots of other material wealth surrounding them, like a house and a computer and those kinds of things. They live in government housing, which is crap, and they get food stamps, and the food stamps buy plenty of food. I remember only realizing this when I lived in LA, and I lived in El Segundo, which is this nice little town on the coast. But we were basically broke because you can make $100,000 a year in LA and be broke because of how expensive rent and everything is. We paid like $2,200 a month in rent. That was 10 years ago. We'd have to drive over into the next town over to go to Food for Less to buy cheaper groceries. And so a lot of the people in Food for Less were using food stamps. That's how their life was. I'm not judging them for using food stamps or anything like that. But I paid attention to what they were buying with the food stamps. Contrary to popular belief, they were not going hungry. They were all fairly overweight, and they were buying huge quantities of high-calorie food. They spent their food stamps on things like Gatorade and soda and potato chips, TV dinners, frozen chicken nuggets, all the stuff that was convenience food, things that they could make conveniently at home and eat. And they could buy huge quantities of those. And those things happen to be very high calorie. They'd buy like a whole giant thing of Pop-Tarts, right? Pop-Tarts are like 200 calories per Pop-Tart. They're super calorie dense. So that's what they bought, and they weren't buying rice and making rice. They could have bought fresh produce and had plenty of money to buy fresh produce, but they didn't. They chose to buy huge stacks of TV dinners and frozen chicken nuggets and that kind of stuff. Chips, lots of chips, things, just convenience foods. They bought nothing but convenience foods. So of course they're going to be unhealthy and overweight. They're eating super calorie dense foods. But the point is, I paid attention to that because it was a little odd. I'm like, oh, they're paying with food stamps. This is back when you had these paper food stamps you had to pay with. And I was like, man, now they do it on like a little card. So there's less, I don't know what the word is. It felt like people might have gotten some kind of negative social thing from paying with food stamps, which, I never really cared that much about that. But anyway, I paid attention to what they were buying with them. For the amount of money that they spent in food, they spent like $800 in food stamps buying all kinds of stuff. You could have bought, 1,000 pounds of rice for the amount of money they spent on their on convenience foods. Good food that is good for you is actually very cheap. Very cheap. I learned this when I was in Vegas and I was completely broke. Is the food that was best for me was the cheapest food, and the food that was worst for me was the most expensive food. I didn't eat potato chips because I couldn't afford to buy, like buying a $5 bag of potato chips was ridiculous. I'd spend that $5 on meat. I'd spend the $5 on, $5 worth of rice would be like a month of rice. It's really crazy how far rice can go. And eggs, we would buy 6 dozen eggs for like $12 or something, right? So I could buy, for $12, I could buy 4 bags of chips or 6 dozen eggs, right? So yeah, I bought all the eggs and ate the eggs. 2 gallons of milk was $3. Spinach was $2.50 for 3 pounds. Apples were 99 cents a pound. And those were like the expensive fruit, right? So like stuff that's good for you is really cheap. Don't believe this narrative that like poor people are broke because high calorie food is cheaper than healthy food. That's not true at all. The truth is they have a lot of money to spend in the form of food stamps, and because you give them the option of what to spend it on, they buy convenience foods, which are higher calorie density and more expensive. But the main thing is they don't, they have the option to buy the lower effort food, so that's what they buy. They buy the lower effort food. That's all. It sounds kind of judgmental for me to say that, but it's really just, it's just how it is. Like you give someone the option, a lot of people are just going to choose whatever's lower effort. Same thing like people choose the weight loss drug because it's lower effort than changing your entire lifestyle and living with a fasting mentality forever. I've been enjoying your album recommendations. Any plans to do more videos like that? I'd like to, but YouTube punishes me severely for doing album reviews. Like it'll tank my views for weeks whenever I do one. I don't know if that's changed. I could do an experiment and try one and see how it hurts the views. But I had to stop doing them because it was actually lowering the views on all the other videos. So I was being really punished for doing album reviews. I don't know why. Their algorithm was like that, but that's how it was. One argument against prescribing hormones I've heard but haven't looked into: putting people on artificial hormones inhibits their ability to make those hormones in the future. It might. Yeah. I mean, there's always side effects and there's always unexpected consequences to medical intervention. Giving someone bariatric surgery doesn't get them to stop eating ice cream, right? You can still gain weight after having weight loss surgery. Oh, good luck with the parties today, Carl. It's good. We have a party today too. Now it's the opposite. You can just get a full meal delivered at any time. In the 80s, we were told to eat margarine in lieu of butter. Yeah, I remember that. And then like all the low-fat cookies, which was like, the problem with cookies is the sugar. It's not the fat. It was never the fat in the cookies. I think the correlation is in part that there's a reliance on fast food, not just restaurants, but the things that are easy to make. So super processed stuff. I agree. Yeah, that's my point. I think that's my point there. They're choosing the fast convenience food, the highly processed, high sugar, high salt food that doesn't make you feel as full and gives you lots of calories, but doesn't give you a lot of other stuff that you need. Very low fiber diets too. Lane Norton, PhD, bodybuilder, powerlifter, loves Pop-Tarts. I love Pop-Tarts too. They're delicious. However, for 200 calories per Pop-Tart, you got to earn those 200 calories. Like 200, a Pop-Tart, if you're doing like really serious weightlifting, that's like a great mid-workout meal as a Pop-Tart. Tastes great. Lots of sugar and fat. Gives you raring to go, a lot of sugar, and then it's also got flour in it, so you have like immediate sugar and then like sugar that takes a little bit longer to get into your bloodstream. It's good, but it's very calorie dense. So if you're eating lots of Pop-Tarts, you'll find that you're going to get fat. That's how it is. Bad diet is bad habit. A can of beans is better than a giant bag of chips, but not as tasty out of the can. Absolutely. But it's like I said, it's more than that. It's that you're asking people to never eat the things they like to eat, basically ever again. It's like, I really like potato chips. Oh, well, you can't ever eat those for the next 5 years ever if you want to lose weight because you just can't. Well, I did that. I would still really like potato chips. Occasionally, I like to have some freaking potato chips. You guys hear the Simba cat. He does that. He's an old cat. Comes out and wails. Wow. I also got a new guitar. A little early 40th birthday present I worked out here. Have you guys seen these? These are cool. The Parker Fly. These are very cool guitars. If you don't know what the Parker Fly is, it's like the Ferrari of guitars. Very, very cool. So I'm going to do some music with that. Kind of restoring this guitar was its own adventure because of the way that I got it and the condition that it came in, and like tracking down parts and stuff. So if you don't know anything about Parker Fly guitars, they're pretty cool. I'll probably do a video on this guitar and these guitars in general. They're pretty cool. The Parker Fly. That one's from 1997, I think. All right, let's play some games. Anyway, like, if we put aside our own personal things when it comes to that, like, you know, yes, I know how to diet and exercise. I know that diet and exercise is the best solution. I know changing lifestyles is the best solution. But you have to think strategically. You have to think like like you're playing Sim City or something. If you're playing Sim City, how are you gonna fix the overall problem? Oh, I forgot we have this boss fight here. This should be fun. Listen to the boss fight music for a second. I'll get this set up. There it is. You have to do kind of this weird little dance to get it to show up on the PC here, but it's okay. Let's see what we're doing here. We did the rocket. Using a guide to like remind me where this is. Okay, yeah, we did all this. We can't fight it, we gotta fight it on the ground. Alright. Let's see here. Let's put our little party together here. Get my little... I have a little window projector so I can play it. Not on the entire TV, but on a pretty good portion of it. Which looks really good. That cool boss music. Have you heard the 80s Swedish band Leviticus? I haven't. Their first two albums were great. Good sacred metal hard rock. I'll check it out. It's cool, like Petra. How long did it take to restore the guitar? It was harder to find the parts. I still haven't fabricated a backplate. I had to fabricate a new tremolo arm, which was a huge pain in the butt. And I may do another one because of... it was a big pain, man. You have to bend like a piece of hex steel. I had to start with a giant hex key and like bend it. And then I looked up how other people did it. They're like, oh, well, we heated up with the blowtorch first. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I'm sitting here like bending a horseshoe, basically, with my strength to like get it into the shape. And it's like, man, there's a little work out there. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. We want Tifa, I think. Fire all. Steel. All. Manipulate. Comet. That's good. Full cure. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Ultima. Plus enemy skill. Gravity heal. Lightning. That's good. Let's see what we got here. We need to do steel as well. It needs to be linked with double cut. Earth. I'm gonna do... where is it? There's double cut. There it is. And instead of that, we are gonna do steel as well. And we can have some other stuff here. Heaven's Cloud. Bahamut Zero. Use that. That'll be fun. Counterattack and cover. Ice and all. Do I have another lightning? I think I do. Happy Easter, everyone. True or false, you can categorize all attractive women into 3 categories of Aerith, Tifa, or Yuffie. I don't think that's true. But my wife is Aerith. She actually looks like... she looks like my wife. My wife wears dresses all the time, too. I love it. What am I doing here? It's all good. And one more thing here. Maybe... I don't know. HP plus. Right. Save it real quick. Alright, I think we gotta wait for it to come here, right? Where is it? There it is. There he comes! Nice and slow. I thought this was really cool back in, like, the 90s. It was, like, this kind of slow... There it is. It's kind of slowly walking boss of the kaiju. Yuffie category, worst category. I'm prejudiced against ninjas. She's kind of like the manic girl. Gonna wait for him to get on land, and then we can finally fight him. All right, here we go. Oh no, it's a random encounter. Oh, I should use a tint real quick anyway. I'll use a tint real quick before we start anyway. That was funny, a random encounter in the middle of that. Item. We have a tent here. There it is. Alright, here he is. Alright, here we go. It's that cool little power metal sound here. Let's do regen on our guys here. Let's do Comet 2. Magic. Ice 3. Clear Tranquil. Heal everybody up. I should do big guard. Remember I have that. 2,000. It looks it's like such a cool kaiju. It's like from Power Rangers here. Let's see what we have. Wow, that uses a lot for not a lot of damage here. Let's try Fire 3. Bolt 3. Let's do enemy skill. Do big guard. Let's do Fire 3 again. See if the meteor rain does damage. How can he stop? It's like a Power Rangers villain. Super Sentai kaiju. Yeah, that did a lot of damage. Countdown. He's opening up his chest. Ultima. Steal here. I think he has a weapon. There we go. Alright. See if we can do physical damage yet. Oh, we can. Good. That's gonna work good. Diamond Flash. Uh-oh. I think this, like, takes you down to, like, you know, 1 HP or something. Yeah. Magic. Cure 3. Did that heal us up? Defend for a minute. Magic. Let's do combat too. Ouch. I'm sure I have something that does like some Fire Veil. Bolt Plume. Here we go. Oh no, I think we beat him. Finishing touch gained. Gravity level up. Level up. Look at all the XP. Everybody's getting like 2 levels. That's sweet. The White Power Ranger. Oh, here we go. This is a good cutscene. Power Ranger Kaiju. What's wrong? Are you still looking for something? No, it's feeling something. Yeah, it senses murder. Okay, can we go now? Oh no, let's hurry out of here. Something big, I'm talking really big's coming. Mr. President, preparations for Sister Ray are now in order. Ha ha ha. Anytime is fine. Fire. Pretty rad. What's up, bro? If Diamond Weapon stepped 50 feet to the left or right, the laser would miss, wouldn't it? I think so. Which direction is it going to attack from? Midgar. Marlene! Are you looking for stream overlays and stuff? Nope. I can do all that, but people complain about it. It's distracting. Damn! It went right through weapon. I see. They're after Sephiroth, the crater on the northern boundary. Sir, weapon's been defeated. The barrier has disappeared. Sir, a massive high-density energy is heading towards Midgar. Whoa, weapons attacking. Thus passes Rufus. What happened to Sephiroth? Northern Cave. Let's go see what happened to it. I got to talk to this guy. Yeah, let's go. Somehow he survives. Somehow Palpatine returned. Where is it? There it is. They did that in Final Fantasy 13 too. It's just like you had characters reappear at the end. They're like, he survived somehow. It's like, I don't even remember who this was. That was like 40 hours ago I saw this guy. Sephiroth's energy barrier is gone. Sid, can the airship get inside? Huh? He's my student, ain't he? Of course he can go anywhere. Right, sorry about that. Yo. Yo. Catchy. Now what? Hold it. Scarlet. Heidegger, what's going on? Strange. I can't reach the president. Not the president. To Sister Ray. Haha, what is it, Reeve? You're speaking strangely. None of that matters. The reactor's output is increasing all by itself. Wait a minute, that's not wise. It must cool for 3 hours or it won't work. Reeve, shut off the machine. You can't do that, it's inoperable. Someone has switched the machine over to mainframe operation. That's what we call jargon. We can't operate it from here. What about the mainframe? Who? Hey, call the mainframe. Huh? Why are you giving orders? I don't give a damn about the details. Stop asking questions. Just enjoy Sephiroth and get excited for new Sephiroth. Haha, just you wait, Sephiroth. I'll give you all the Mako you want. Hojo, stop! The cannon, no! Midgar itself is in danger. Haha, 1 or 2 Midgars. It's a small price to pay. Hojo, Hojo! Show me Sephiroth. It should be near. Go beyond the powers of science. Before your presence, science is powerless. I hate it, but I'll concede to it. Just let me see it. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think the best place to build a super weapon was on top of their super city. Yes. Cracked a lot of windows. Yo, do something, you big cat. We're sunk. Hojo's doing this on his own. Huh? I don't like this. You busted, Reeve. Too late trying to hide it now. Can't you stop the Mako reactor? We can't stop it. You're from Shinra, ain't you? So why is it impossible? We came a long way to get here. You better not double-cross us now. I can't make you trust me. You damn fool! Don't you understand anything I'm saying? I don't give a damn about Shinra. If you're a man, no, if you're a human being, you'll save the planet. Don't you even care? No way. If we shut down the reactor, all hell will break loose. Why? Can't you just shut off the valve? Yeah, it's easy to shut off the reactor's pipe valves, but the reactor made a path for the energy to escape from below. Once you open that, it'll be impossible to close it until everything blasts out. And we can't try to stop the energy from gushing out. An explosion! This blast will be way stronger than when the #1 reactor blew up. Damn! Forget about that. The cannon! We've got to get to Midgard. That's the first thing. Must stop Hojo first. Looks like Cloud and the others are on their way. Stay out of the way. Don't be so ludicrous. I don't recall you giving me any orders. The peace preservation will give their best effort to make the enemy retreat. Because of them, I... That's a private matter. The president is dead. Now I'm doing things my way. Ha ha ha! Heidegger, now I'm going to use the new weapon. Hey, wait! Cloud, everybody, sorry! But... I think airships are a great concept. I really like them in Final Fantasy. We have them in the real world. They're called blimps. I mean, we have like hydrogen airships, but, you know, they blow up really easy, so... we had to do something different from that. But you'll come, won't you? I know. Hey! I'm leaving the ship in your hands. I'm heading for Midgar. Gimli Stalin is right. Alright. Off we go. Oh, cool. I can, like, fly right into Midgar with this thing. We've reached Midgar. I don't mean from an engineering point of view, but within fiction, something about them. Yeah, I think it's kind of the ocean, the pull of the ocean as a setting. Same thing with space. Feels very nautical. You know, things are bigger, they're more grand with airships versus planes, you know? Even if we get there, Midgar's under martial law. There'll be no way we could slip into the slums. Looks like all transportation from the slums is cut off. Hey, what do you think we have Highwind for? Where are we now? Huh? Where are we? If land's no go, we'll go by air. Okay then, we'll parachute into Midgar. Choose from the members below. Change your party's members? No. Leave it as is. I think so. I think I like this. I think I like this party. Here we go. I really liked in Final Fantasy VI how you had levels where you had to use all your party members. Or you had to split up into multiple parties. I always liked that. Maybe we should have more of that in these kind of games. Are there airships in any Western Fantasy RPGs or Western Fantasy books? Yeah, like steampunk books have airships for sure. Yeah. John De La Rose, who I've had on the show, he wrote a whole bunch of books, steampunk books with airships. Totally. Heidegger's going after you all. That's why it's dangerous out there. Let's go underground. There's a save point. So it was Hojo who stirred up all this commotion after all these years. Yeah, let's get it over with. I have an old score to settle with Hojo, so let's hurry and go. Sounds strange coming from me, but it feels like home being back in Midgar. Kinda makes me sick. This is where we go in. Please, hurry and come to the Mako Cannon. What's happening? Not too much. Ooh, there's a shiny chest over there. I wonder how I get it. I gotta... How do I get it? Ooh, look, little tanks. Got a new guitar. I'm gonna do a little video. The Parker Fly is like the best guitar ever. As far as like manufactured guitars. It's awesome. But I also have John Petrucci, which is pretty good and does most of the same things. So for people that are like, should I try to get a Parker Fly? It's like there's some definite downsides to getting a Parker Fly. Like it's very hard to find parts. Ouch. Thanks, Cloud. You just killed your girlfriend. Good job. There we go. Poor Tifa. Cloud. Lightning was born. Phoenix down. Master. Cloud believes in equality. There's another chest over there. Mega Elixir. It's quite the little maze. I love this music. This is kind of the music from the beginning of the game. I've always liked it. Little guys hiding under manholes. That's it. What is it about early 80s audio equipment that gave metal and other genres that sort of fuzzy vinyl quality? Microphones? I don't think it's just the audio equipment. So I think 80s audio equipment sounds really good. Like I have 80s audio equipment, and I used to have stuff from the 60s that sounded really good too. Eventually got rid of like my amps from the 60s. Which I kind of wish I hadn't, but you know, I don't really use all the tube amplifier stuff anymore. So it's not it's not such a big deal. But when you're listening to older stuff that was produced in the analog era, you have a lot of noise that gets introduced in the signal chain. So there's noise that gets picked up on the cables. There's noise on the tape. There's noise in a bunch of things. Good job. Good job. There you go. There you go, Cloud. All right. You know, noise on the tapes. You would also drive, because you did things with valves, with tubes. You would also drive things to a point of distortion sometimes. So drums that peaked mics wouldn't get this horrible sound that we get now. They had kind of a different sound, maybe more pleasant sound. So you had a lot of things that add up to that. Plus, you weren't mastering things loudly the way that you are now. Now you master things really loud all the time because the digital space with tiny little earbuds, you want it to be, I guess, as loud as possible. So a lot of people still use the same microphones that they used in the 60s. And they sound different now because the production techniques are different. They're not as noisy. I guess I can get that chest. And things were mastered a lot more quiet back then too. Can I run away from these guys? Yeah, I can. Cool. When I listen to Leviticus, it sounds like I'm there in the studio, and I'm wondering why it sounds more pleasant than all an overmastered production that's clean. It's because you're not fully saturating the frequencies. Like a fully saturated super loud sound will actually give you headaches. Like if you listen to Death Magnetic by Metallica too long, you can actually get a headache from it because it's so loud and so oversaturated as far as the frequencies. So there's fewer frequencies on the tape. You also have, when you're running through compressors, they'll multiply even frequencies if they're valve compressors. So you get an emphasis on half the frequency set instead of the full frequency set. And that ends up sounding more pleasant. And if you listen to it on vinyl, vinyl is a physical thing, scratching across a physical surface, it vibrates. And so it creates overtones that actually weren't on the record at all. And that also has a pleasant sound. So it's a thinner sound that's more pleasant. Even though it's less accurate than a digital recording, it ends up sounding more pleasing to people because of all the things that go into reproducing the sound as well as recording it. When you record it, you're on that old analog equipment, you're cutting out some of the frequencies, usually the odd frequencies. If you're running them through a valve amplifier, the odd frequencies tend to be lower and the even frequencies higher. So you can have a loud sound that doesn't feel so super saturated. And then you press it on vinyl, and it's a physical media, not a magnetic media, so it's a vibrating of the needle, causes overtones to exist on the reproduction of it, which is also pleasant. So the upper end sounds a lot warmer, like a real instrument, rather than really loud and very precise. So it's less precise, but it is more pleasing. I did a video on like why vinyl sounds better, and most people really did not understand anything that I was saying about that, which is, hey, that's par for the course when you're talking about audio stuff. You have people thinking that digital sound, that there's such a thing as digital sound, for instance. There's no such thing as digital sound. But it's pleasant because of all those things that go into producing the vinyl and then reproducing the sound. But even a modern digitally recorded album can sound great on vinyl if you have it mastered for vinyl correctly. You get a lot of the benefits of it. And a lot of the benefits of vinyl have nothing to do with the actual media, but rather are about the way that you listen to it. You listen to it in your room, looking at the cool album cover, sitting still, paying attention to the music, rather than listening to it in your car where it's noisy or with little earbuds that distort the sound and sound like crap, Getting the right sound is tricky, and the tendency for modern I'm reading Sound Engraver's comment. Taking a stab at mastering my music for the first time. I have a great ear. It's getting that right sound that's tricky, yeah. And learning some of the techniques for how to use compression properly without like crunching the sound into oblivion is really hard. They don't teach you this stuff in school. At least they didn't when I was in school. I had to kind of learn it directly from people who knew what they were doing more than I did. More elixirs. Save those for the final battle. What is this? Oh, that's for... You know what? I forgot to... I think I got a weapon for her. Okay. The Rising Sun. No, that's not a good weapon. We'll keep what we've got. When I was in high school, I wanted to start a band, and discovering Leviticus has got me writing lyrics again. Cool. And one of the reasons I like using Ableton is that it comes pre-packaged with a bunch of mastering settings. So like you can just pull up a master setting, like they'll have stuff like MIDI analog master. Doesn't really sound like that. But it comes preloaded with a certain set of compression settings, which you can then tweak to match your music correctly. And so you don't have to think like, okay, I need a glue compressor, I need this kind of compressor, I need a saturator, I need a maximizer, I need a limiter. It's all in like one little package for you. So it makes it really convenient and useful, in my opinion. So I really like it. Go up this little pipe here. Where are we? There we are. Can I go around this? How do I get there? What do I do here? I can't get over to it. Sorry for the... I'm getting a little allergies here, sorry. Normal shell. There we go. Obliterate them. So yeah, that's one thing I like about Ableton is you can just pick up the settings and just tweak them from there. You know, they have a bunch of EQ, preloaded EQ settings for a bunch of different instruments. Like, you know, acoustic guitar or whatever, so... I don't know. I'm supposed to get around here. Sneezing a lot. What time is it? Yeah, I need to get going here. So I'm gonna save here, and then we'll do the fight next time. If I can get to the save point. 10 years ago, I would just put a Shure mic up to the middle of an amp with a digital distortion pedal connected to that. And connect that to my DAW. It was rough but fun, no idea what I was doing. So this is a fun thing too. The biggest effect on like the sound when you're recording is mic placement and the cabinet and the speakers versus the amp. Like digital distortion actually sounds fine if you mic it correctly. I can't get over to the save point. I don't know what the deal is here. What am I supposed to do? Oh, it's a ladder. It just didn't look like there were that ladder connected. Yep. Yeah, I remember those 4-track recorders. Those were fun. And then we had like the Akai digital recorders. Those were pretty cool. Back before you were running Pro Tools, or Pro Tools was just too expensive to do anything with. Of course, now I don't know anyone who uses Pro Tools now. Pro Tools is kind of like a boomer recorder. Max Ray. I wonder what that is. Nothing he needs. Anything that protects against confuse. No. Yeah, have a wonderful Holy Saturday and Easter too. To you too. How do I get down to that save point? Just gotta get to the save point. Yeah, Reaper's really good. I do almost all my recording in Ableton, mostly because of the preloaded settings. I just don't have to think about it. But I have Reaper for doing other stuff, too. I do like, you know, Reaper's usually what I recommend people get into because it's really cheap. And you can find lots of free VST plugins that will do pretty much whatever you want in Reaper. And because Reaper's lightweight, it also runs on old hardware. You know, I can run it on a 10-year-old laptop, no problem. If I need to do some kind of, you know, I can use my oldest laptop to record something live if I need to. Like, that's really cool. All right. So how do I get over to that? Or is that where I came in? I can't tell. I think I gotta go back down here. Traction is free and full featured. How do I get on this? There we go. There's the ladder there. I mean, you can get Ableton, you can get a version of Ableton for free by like buying certain pieces of hardware. I have an Ableton Push, which is a very complicated controller, but I really like it. It's not for everyone, but I really like the way Ableton works. I can even do live stuff with it if I really need to. Which is cool, I think. Alright. Can I just run from these guys? Phoenix down. Just installed Tiramisu on my Wii U. Hell yeah. Hadn't used it in a year, and recent update deleted some Wii U cold boot Haxchi files. Whoops. It's okay. I took cold boot Haxchi off, and I put Tiramisu on as well. It's a little more, you know, it's what's going to be, people are going to work on in the future too. What's great is you can still get a lot of the ROMs from the Wii U store. Using the Wii U USB helper, and it's pretty easy to install with Tiramisu. So you can put your games on your hard drive, which is very convenient. Especially because I have kids, and they're not, like, my son's careful with discs now, but he has scratched discs in the past, and I still have a 4-year-old. So, you know, that's how it is. All right, I'm going to save here. There's a boss fight after this, and we'll do that next week. So we can get onto some egg hunts at my house. All right. I think that's going to be it, folks. I'll do some content on the new guitar here soon. Yeah, I was going to compare this to like a John Petrucci, which I have one of those too. These are very cool guitars, but they're hard to find now. And especially if you want one of these, which is like they call it the pre-refined. So it's from like the 1990s. It's got like a carbon, like this fingerboard is carbon fiber. Like the neck is wrapped in carbon fiber. So you get this super short neck, and the back there's like no neck joint. Like that. There's no neck joint. It just like flows into the body. Very cool. And super light. You know, it's like 2 or 3 pounds. Really light. Not like playing some clumsy Les Paul. So anyway, I'll have some more content coming with that, more writing content. I already have in the bag too. So, you get the book for free if you want the book for free. Here it is. King Leper. I'm going to try to get that one out soon. I have to tidy up a couple other projects, put out this album, or at least like get it distributed onto like Spotify and stuff like that. And then, we'll get on to the new books for the rest of the year. So have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy. Have a happy and blessed Easter.